Hi everybody, I'm Melanie. I work in the children's department here at the Wayne County Public Library, and as you all know, there's so much going on right now in our country, in the world, and even in our community here, and you may be wondering now how to talk to your children about race and racism. Research indicates that children learn racial differences from a very early age, so it's never too soon to talk to your child openly about race. And if your child's older, it's equally important to have those conversations and to continue having those conversations. They want to talk to you, even if sometimes it seems like they don't, and you are their best guide for helping them discuss race and the many issues that we face in our society today. And if you don't know where to begin, look no further than the library. We have tons of great books here for you that can foster meaningful conversations with the children in your life, and I'm going to talk about a few today. First, note that the goal of talking about race is not to be colorblind. It's okay to notice racial differences. However, discriminating and judging based on those differences is not. Help your child understand race from a historical context and with current examples. Here are some titles that I'm going to talk about that take on race in very, very powerful ways. So I'm going to talk about 3 books for you now here. The first one is called Black Brother, Black Brother by Jewell Parker Rhodes. Dante Ellison is one of the few black kids at his prestigious prep school in Massachusetts. Students dub him Black Brother, a pointed reference to the difference in skin tone between he and his lighter-skinned brother, Trey. Their mother is black and their father is white. And teachers wish he would behave more like Trey. And when Dante is bullied yet again by the school's fencing star, Alan, one thing leads to another, and Dante is arrested and suspended from school. Dante decides to fight back in the most unlikely place, the fencing mat. Dante finds former Olympic fencer Arden Jones and convinces him to help him train. Dante learns how to fence, he builds new relationships, he learns to take pride in his cultural heritage, all while taking on bullying, racism, and a biased social justice system. The second one is called Prairie Lotus by Linda Sue Park. This takes place in the Dakota Territory in 1880. Hannah and her father, Ben, are looking for a community, a safe community where they can live and where they can open a dress goods shop. Since the death of her Korean Chinese mother, Hannah and her father, who is white, have been traveling around the frontier, and they are newly arrived in a town called La Forge. Hannah endures challenges common to other 19th century children of the frontier, but yet in this town she must also face the ugly racism from the townsfolk. Hannah confronts the town's racism with heroism and dignity as she navigates her relationship with her sometimes prickly father, her classmate Bess, and the memories she has of her much-missed mother. Hannah also has interactions with a group of women from the nearby 𝗟𝘀𝗁 community, which further sheds light on the injustices and prejudices of the time. This is a really, really wonderful book with a great author's note in the back. And the third one I'm going to talk about is called New Kid by Jerry Craft. This is a great book. It's a graphic novel, so it's really fun for kids to read as well, but it has a great message in it too. Jordan Banks loves nothing more than to draw all day. But instead of going to art school of his dreams, he is instead sent by his parents to a prestigious boarding school outside of his neighborhood. He turns out to be one of the only kids of color in his grade, which makes it even harder to fit in. Jordan finds out how hard it is to adjust to the culture at his new school, who to sit with at lunch, how do you play soccer, getting to know wealthy classmates whose lives are very different from their own, and navigating various and troubling instances of racist microaggressions, all while trying to stay true to himself and his neighborhood. Next, talk to your kids about social justice. Tell them what it means when people say Black Lives Matter, and let them know that they can be an ally for change. These next few titles show main characters engaging in protest and activism. And the first one is called A Good Kind of Trouble by Lisa Moore Ramée. All Shayla wants to do is follow the rules, but something is changing in her junior high. Things happen that make her question who her friends are and why are people saying she isn't Black enough. Her sister Hannah is involved in the Black Lives Matter, but Shayla thinks it isn't for her until she experiences a powerful protest and finds that some rules are worth breaking. Soon everyone at school is taking sides. Shayla doesn't want to do the wrong thing, but sometimes it's even scarier to do the right thing. And this is another great one, From the Desk of Zoe Washington by Janae Marks. On her 12th birthday, Zoe receives a letter from her father, a man she's never met, and a man who's been in prison her entire life. She decides to write him back, asking questions and telling him about herself, especially about her passion for baking and her wish to audition for the Kids Bake Challenge on the Food Network. When Marcus writes that he's innocent of the crime for which he was convicted, Zoe doesn't know what to believe. When she finds out he had an alibi for the night of the crime, an alibi that Marcus's lawyer never bothered to track down, Zoe learns about racism in the criminal justice system. With the help of her friend and neighbor Trevor, Zoe knows she must track down the truth, no matter the consequences. Lastly, it's important to bring diverse voices and perspectives into your child's reading. Encourage them to read about kids who are different from them so those differences can be acknowledged and celebrated. Here are some titles with main protagonists who are kids of color. And the first one is The Last Day of Summer. And this is a really, really fun story about two cousins, Otto and Sheed, who are local celebrity sleuths in their small Virginia town. As summer winds down, the boys are ready for one last adventure, and they sure get it. Although weird goings-on are common in their town, when a mysterious man arrives on the last day of summer with a camera that literally freezes time, Otto and Sheed must step into action with their deductive skills and life-saving maneuvers. With the help of some strange creatures and some very interesting people, these two boys must save their town and its residents before it's too late. And the last one is The First Rule of Punk by Celia Pérez. Malou was not happy about having to move to Chicago from Florida for her mom's job at a local university. And to make matters worse, her first day at her new school doesn't go so well. She makes an enemy of the school's most popular girl, violates the dress code, and disappoints her mom in the process. Malou loves punk. She loves zines and skateboarding and manages to assemble a group of like-minded students at her school, and they decide to start a band. Just when she's finally feeling at home, she realizes she's going to have to fight for her right to live by the first rule of punk, to be yourself. This is just a small sampling of the many titles we have here at the library. I hope I've given you some useful information and a starting point for having a conversation with your child about race and racism. Please know you can always reach out to the staff at the library for additional suggestions. We're always happy to help. Thanks for listening.